What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy O'Sheen here. I'm back with Yard Podcast. I had to take a little couple days off. Had a little eye boogie, but it's starting to go away. But anyways, let's get on topic. The NBA Finals is finally about to start. Indiana Pacers versus the OKC Thunders. It's kind of hard to think about how we got here. Obviously, people had speculations about OKC possibly getting to the finals. They had a wonderful run. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Throughout the whole season. So them getting to the finals wasn't a big surprise. But the Pacers was definitely a big surprise. Them getting through the East, a lot of things had to be aligned. Boston getting hurt, New York playing down as far as their talent goes. I think New York played a lot down. A lot of things fall in line, but that's just the luck of the draw. That's just how it is. That's just life in itself. That's just sports. At any given Sunday, any given day, anything can happen that can cause your team, who would be considered the best team or the possible team to get to the finals, injuries and things of that nature, right? So, Pacers, OKC finals. Everybody's, trying to make their prediction about what they feel the outcome would be. The overwhelming answer for a lot of people will be OKC. And granted, I get it, understand OKC have been that team to watch offensively, and then damn, their defense is just spectacular, right? So I can get it why everyone is on the bandwagon of OKC, but I wouldn't sleep on the Pacers. I would not sleep on them. I honestly feel they have a good chance. If they can split the series in OKC within the first two games, they have a chance. If they go down 0-2, it's a wrap. I honestly believe that. God willing, there's no injuries and nothing of a sort, everyone stays healthy and come into this finals 100% healthy. I mean, it's the finals. Nobody's 100% healthy, but you're gonna play through being hurt. Injured and hurt is two different things. So it's the NBA Finals. There's no excuse right now. You put on the court what you have available, right? But I think it's gonna be a great matchup. Everyone is focusing on Shea as they should. He's the MVP. But OKC has a lot to offer. I think with Jalen Williams or J Dub, because there's two Jalen Williams on the team, but J Dub, the one that starts, I think he is going to be a problem for the Pacers. I honestly believe that he's going to be him and Chet. To me, are the dark horses for OKC winning the finals. They have to be on their A game throughout this whole series. They cannot be B players, C players, D players. They have to be on their A game the whole series. And that has been the thing against Jalen Williams, is that he's up and down. He's a roller coaster when it comes to his games. There's one game that he showed you 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and then the next game you will get 5 points or something of a sort. So it's the inconsistency with J Dub. And it's the same thing with Chet. It's the inconsistency that they both bring. And obviously Holmgren is going to be a big impact because the Pacers have a lot of big bodies that they can throw out there. And we've seen that with Thomas Bryant coming off the bench, being clutch for the Pacers against the Knicks in the closeout game. So I'm not going to make a prediction, but if OKC play their game, I feel they're favorite. If Indiana can split the series, I would then move in their favor as well, because going back to Indiana, is going to be tough for OKC. I honestly believe that they're going to give a problem to the Thunders. But one thing about the Thunders is that they don't care if you score. They're going to get the ball up and get running. They're going to get up and they're going to go. You score, okay, we're going to get right back and run, 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 run. So it's two teams that enjoy running, but if I had to say between the two, I honestly believe OKC runs better. They prepare themselves a little bit better than the Pacers. Because watching the Pacers series, the only person that I had a big issue with was Tyler. He was too inconsistent again. Great player, but the up and down, up and down, up and down. You cannot have that in the NBA Finals. You cannot go from 30 points, 16 assists, 10 rebounds, whatever, and then the next game, 11 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. You know, that's something you expect from your bench player, your role players, not one of your star players. Because between him and Pascal, they're the two star players on the team, right? So he has to be with his A game the whole series. He cannot have no, I'm going to take a time off here, because OKC is going to exploit that. He takes any time off, they're going to exploit that every chance they get. So going to the series, this is going to be one of those NBA Finals where I feel whoever can take the most punches and still stand up wins this series. And I think OKC, being that the West is tougher, have been punched a lot and were able to get through that. Denver is a tough team. Minnesota, a tough team. I forgot who they play in the first round, but it's the West. The West has always been the most dominant since, I want to say, for the past 10 years, maybe even more. Maybe my math is not right, but the West has been the most dominant in the past couple of years now, maybe 20 years, since the 90s, where it was a little bit more balance in the NBA. The 90s were more balanced as far as quality of teams. Yes, Jordan dominated the NBA, but it was a lot more balanced. Where in this era of basketball, the West has been the most dominant, because in the past couple of years, the West has been winning championships. The Warriors, the Nuggets, even the bubble chip for the Lakers. The West, right? The West has been the most dominant. And now, with OKC being able to get past Minnesota, who I thought would have given them a better run for their money, and I honestly believe Minnesota needs to get rid of Rudy Gobert. He's, to me, is the issue on that team. To be 7'2", 7'3", however freaking tall you are, and to be 4-time, 3-time defensive player of the year and not show that, nah, you got to go. You know, a lot of people talk smack about him and say he's soft and this and that. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know this man personally, but just from watching him play, I can see why. Because you've been in the NBA now, 8 years, 9 years, however long you've been in the NBA, and you have not developed any sort of offensive game. None. There's nothing about your offensive game that we can look at and say, all right, if he does this, he can give us a steady 10, 15 points over this. There's nothing. And even his defense, nobody fears him. He's not a defender where you see him and you're saying, oh man, I have to go the other way because he's there, right? So the Minnesota Timberwolves, I feel they need to make a move. If they can go get dude from the Charlotte Hornets, Williams, or if they can go get Nick Claxton from the Nets. Just they need an athletic big who's willing to run the floor, catch lobs, block shots, rebound, and they're good. They have the wing. They have, to me, the best two guard in the NBA in Ant-Man. You can't say Shea is a two guard because he's running the point, right? But I think Ant-Man has the potential to be the best player in the NBA. And I would go out on a limb and say he probably is the best player in the NBA. Everyone would look at Joker and Luka and Shea, but Ant, to me, his whole body of work, I would have to side with him as the best player in the NBA, or potentially can be or will be the best player in the NBA. But let's get back to the finals. So, finals starts tonight in OKC. Will this be what the Thunder should have been when Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook were together? And I think Serge Ibaka was on that team as well. Will this be what they should have been? Obviously, when KD ran to the Warriors, a lot of people was saying, damn, bro, you are the prime example of you can't beat them, join them, right? And you hear little whispers about OKC potentially trading for a Giannis next year, regardless if they win the chip or not, right? And to me, I don't see why. Don't get me wrong, I love Giannis. That's, he's one of my favorite players in the league. But why mess up your roster? If you won, why mess it up, right? It's different from what the Dallas Mavericks did when they got rid of Luka. They just felt Luka, great offensive player, but injuries was always a big thing for him. And he's a ghost on defense. Nowhere to be found. People exploit him all the time, right? So with this NBA Finals coming up, I really honestly believe that the Thunders can show what it takes to win a championship as a young team. I think they probably go down as one of the youngest NBA teams to win the NBA Finals if they get that. Go round of applause for them. If they can. That's if they can, right? But and I'm really looking forward to this finals. This is different for me as someone who has been watching the NBA for years and loving basketball, playing basketball practically my whole life. This is a little different from what we're typically used to as NBA fans and as basketball players. We're used to the normal teams, per se, the Lakers, the Boston, and then the Warriors jumped in as teams that the Spurs where we will see in the NBA Finals. Now it's been a couple of years now where it's been different teams that are going to the finals and different teams are winning it, right? Excuse me. So this will be great for the NBA. This, to me, will be one of those things where it shows that you don't need a quote unquote super team to be a potential NBA champion. So
awesome.
So for me, this is brilliant. Now, how will it pan out as far as the ratings and things of that goes? I think that all depends on how the series go. If it's one of those series where one team is just overly dominant over the other, then obviously it'll be one of those things where it's all right, this didn't work or whatever, But I'm honestly, I am really excited about this. I'm really, really excited about this to see what happens here tonight. And hopefully it will be great and it will be a sign of what is to come. So Pacers Warriors tonight. It should be a good one. They're both young. They're both running teams. They both play defense. They both can score. They're both unselfish teams. You can basically say they're mirror teams of each other, except for the fact that one team has the MVP, and you could say one team. You no, you definitely is one team that has the better player, which is Shea. So it will be good. It will be good. I think it will be a wonderful NBA season. Now, on to another topic. The offseason, the NBA offseason is right around the corner, and trades are starting to boil up. Potential signings and things of that nature is possibly happening. You know, you hear Giannis potentially leaving the Bucks. Man, I hope he doesn't. But, you know, the NBA is a business. If he does, I'm going to give you my potential teams that I feel would benefit Giannis. And all of the teams that I'm giving you are all East Coast teams because I feel that will be in his best benefit to stay in the East and to go out to the West. Because you going out to the West, that's going to be rugged to go out into the West to play against teams that are upcoming. The Houston Rockets, the Denver Nuggets, even though I feel the Denver Nuggets going to be making some trades as well. Oklahoma City Thunders, the Clippers who are up and coming, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You know, just to name those teams. And I also think Dallas Mavericks, as soon as Kyrie get back, hopefully he gets back by, say, December, the Dallas Mavericks with Flag coming in, AD. I honestly believe Dallas Mavericks could be a potential NBA championship contender next year if injuries, you know, play in their favor. But again, if is a big ass thing, right? So we never know. But for Giannis, I think for him, if he does leave Milwaukee, which I don't think he should, but if he does leave Milwaukee, teams that he should consider: Toronto. They have great young players. They just need that one player, I feel, that will get them over the hump. Obviously, they'll have to give us some of the young asset, but as long as they keep RJ Barrett and the other kid, well, I can't think of his name right now, they're good. The New York Knicks, if they can swing a trade where they trade Cat and possibly Hart or Bridges and throw in a couple of first rounds and some cash, that would make sense. Another team, which a lot of people are sleeping on, I think the Charlotte Hornets would be a great fit for him. For him to play with LaMelo Ball, somebody that loves to pass and somebody that is just active, and him going there and with him and PJ Washington and LaMelo Ball and Giannis, I think that would be a great fit. Miami would be a great fit for him as well. If they can somehow find a way to keep Bam and Tyler Hero, that would be great. This would be another one of those things where they'll probably have to throw Andrew Wiggins and a whole bunch of draft picks and probably get another team involved to try to make that trade happen so that they can keep Bam and Tyler. But, and then, you know, he could always just stay put in Milwaukee and maybe they make some trades and they can bring some potential players in that will help him. Because Dame is going to be out practically the whole entire season. So it's one of those things where I honestly feel he's better off staying in Milwaukee than to go elsewhere. Because Giannis to me has the he gives me the feeling of he's a homebody where he enjoys having things in a certain way and change is not something that he wants to happen. Right? I'm sure, honestly, obviously, if it comes, it comes, and he will embrace that because it comes with the territory of playing in the NBA. Because I don't think that he has a no trade clause. But obviously, if Milwaukee going to trade Giannis, they want to make sure that they get back the Brinks truck, right? They're not going to just get back any randoms, right? They want to make sure that they empty your wallet if you're going to come get the third best player in the NBA. To me, Giannis is number number two, number three. He's in that best player category to me. And when I threw Ant as the best player, I'm talking about best young player, right? But as far as best overall, I think Giannis is, number three as far as that. If we're just talking about just his pure dominance, obviously people want to throw, when you talk about the best player, there's so many categories that go into that, whether it's your skill set, whether it's your accomplishments, you know, the things in that you're able to do and not do. The only knock on Giannis' game that anybody can say is the shooting. That's really it. He does absolutely everything else. He can pass, he can dribble, he can get to the rim whenever he wants, he can score, he plays defense. The only thing that people can say about Giannis is that he doesn't really have a post game and he doesn't have a good shooting touch. But those are things that he can work on. This summer, he can work on. Giannis is what, 29, 30 or something like that. So it's not something that he cannot add to his game. But I really think Giannis should stay put. But those are my teams: Toronto, New York, Charlotte, Miami. I think, and obviously Milwaukee are teams that Giannis should consider. I honestly believe he should stay in the East, where it gives him not going to say easier, but a better chance of getting back to the NBA Finals, right? So that's what's and I'm kind of happy that none of the weaker teams got the number one draft pick. I'm kind of happy that it went down this way because I feel that will then encourage teams to stop tanking so much and actually try to put their best foot forward. I mean, obviously, I get it when it's the last 20 games of the season and you see, all right, the chances of me making the playoffs is not happening, right? And you have already been eliminated from the playoffs with 20 games left. Okay, I get it. Now it's time for you to, put in players, bench players, get players from the G League and throw them in there so that you can see what you have potentially for next year, right? But I honestly believe this was a good thing that it didn't go to none of those teams that a lot of them just tanked, right? So, yeah, man. So, NBA Finals tonight. Hope you guys enjoy it, man. I'm going to be doing some live episodes soon. And when I start doing live episodes, I hope you guys tune in. It'll be on YouTube, it'll be on IG. I hope you guys tune in. I'm going to have some merch coming in soon. I'm gonna have a link set up on, YouTube or IG where you guys can go and get the merch. And yeah, man, big man, things is coming. All right, stay blessed, never stress. You know?